Welcome to Smoking Eagle's Rod Shop, and in today's video, we're going to be working on my 76 Ford Econoline Shorty van. If you've been around the channel for very long, then you know this thing is a heavy smoker. Emphasis on the heavy. It's got a 351 Windsor in it with over 94,000 miles on it. I changed the plugs before I put it away this winter, and I drove maybe 1,500 miles or so, and it had developed a pretty bad mess. The driver's side plugs were unrecognizable. The passenger side, they're fouled a little bit, but they weren't bad. I changed the timing chain and gears, and I converted this thing over to an HEI ignition system a few years ago, and it runs really well given the, well, how heavy it smokes. It actually doesn't use that much oil either. But what I think is happening is I think there's so much sludge up here in the top of these valve covers that it's pumping oil up, and the oil can't actually return back down into the pan as efficiently as it should. And I think the oil's sitting right on top of the valves, especially on the driver's side, and that's what's creating the smoke. Now, obviously the valve seals are shot, but if there's oil sitting directly on top of the valves, that's just gonna make things even worse. So in today's video, we're gonna tear these valve covers off of here, and I'm gonna see if I can attempt to remove as much sludge out of there as I possibly can with my shop vac, who knows what else, screwdriver, some scrapers. I don't know what we're gonna get ourselves into, but I'm pretty sure it's bad. I need to make sure that the oil returns are at least open and free so oil can flow back down into the bottom of the engine, and then we'll assess it from there. I mean, if that, hopefully that just makes it better. I mean, I'm not trying to fix things, right? Like, I know it's got 95,000 miles on it. I just would like to not have to put plugs in it every 400 miles. That would be convenient. Anyway, let's jump right in. All right, so I got our hood removed inside here. I'm just gonna pull all our plug wires, and I'm going to mark them with some tape so that we put them back in the right locations, and that'll just kind of get them up out of our way. And then we can start pulling this valve cover off. Let's see what I'm getting myself into here. Set those up over there. So I got all the plug wires off. For being a van, there's actually quite a bit of room in here. I'm gonna move this kind of out of the way, the old oil fill there, and we'll start taking these bolts out, and then we'll see how bad a shape it's really in. But all I can see through the fill is sludge, so it's a great sign. Down periscope. Oh, guys, you got to see this. Look, I took the bottom bolts out, and look, there's oil just running out of it. I think I'm right. I think that's exactly what's happening. The oil returns are just completely filled, and oil's not being able to return back down into the bottom of the pan. And look at that. I mean, that should not happen. That's a bad sign. But that means we're potentially on the right path to fixing this, or at least making it better. I gotta go get side cutters because I got a wire attached up here, and then we can pull this valve cover off and see how bad it really is. Years ago, one thing I learned years ago, when you're doing a project, always start with the worst part of the job first. That way it's all uphill from there. If you procrastinate and put off the shitty part of the job, then you're always gonna procrastinate the whole job. That's why I chose the driver's side, because it is the worst. All right, so let's see if I can get you guys somewhere. Here you go. Oh man, look at that. Yep. See that, guys? The whole bottom of that's just filled with oil. Look at the sludge in here. Oh my. Oh my. But if you notice, a good sign, the tops of every single one of these rockers has fresh oil on it. So it's still pumping oil up here. It's just not getting back down to the bottom. And I was driving this thing multiple hours straight to NASCAR races, swap meets, camp outs. Yeah. Look at the sludge in this valve cover, guys. We get this over to the bench. Look at the sludge in here. Oh my God. Oh, that is so bad. This thing is just a sludge factory. I wonder what it tastes like, Jason. Yep, just like you'd expect. It tastes terrible. Here it is from the front. Oh man, look how bad that is, guys. So what I need to do is get all this sludge out of there. I mean, look at this. Look at that. I just pulled that out of the head. The sludge, look at this. I just pulled it out with my finger. That is our problem. We've got to get this all cleaned up, and we've got to get this out of here. So I'm gonna dig out some tools, my shop vac, some rags, lots and lots of rags, and we'll get in here and we'll start getting this cleaned up. All right, so I've got the oil out of the bottom of here with just some rags, trying to protect our carpet just a little bit. And like a small block Chevy, there's supposed to be an oil return right here. It don't exist. So I've got a flat screwdriver here, and I have my shop vac, and I'm gonna try and get this in here to suck the garbage out as I kind of break it up all the way down through that hole. And then my plan is to do the front the same way, and then I'm gonna try and get like a bolt and wrap electrical tape around it or something and shove it down in there and kind of plug that hole off. And then we'll use some kerosene, some wire brushes, whatever we need to do, rags, and just try and clean this up the best we can without getting too crazy. It's not a restoration, but I just want to get kind of the majority of this garbage cleaned up without it going right back down the return hole. Yeah, it's pretty bad, guys. Could be worse. Could be blown up. I don't know. Anyway, let's get to it. All right, so I got that hole unplugged, and I've got my endoscope here, and I'm gonna stick it right down in this hole and let you guys kind of see. Now that we got it cleaned out, I can see how bad it really is all the way down to the return. But man, it was completely plugged off. Let's see if you guys can see this here, screen. See this here, screen? Can you see that screen? I just wanna make sure I can see it too. So here we go, right down the old hole there. And there's some crud around it, but it actually looks very, very clear. It's like it was only plugged up here at the very top. Oh, looks like we got a chunk of dirt on the end of it. Clean that off. There we go. Can we see again yet? Not yet. Clean off our eyeball. There we go. Got our eyeball cleaned off. Okay. Try and get this back down here so you guys can see. And I can see. I mean, oil returning at all is better than no oil returning, which is what we had before. Down we go, and look at that. I mean, it's kind of cruddy, but it's obviously clear enough that this 1/4 inch diameter, look at that, boom, there's the oil pan. So this return is cleared. Obviously, the whole top of the engine is still filthy, but we know that oil will at least return in the back. So I will get something shoved down in this hole to protect stuff from falling down in there and plugging that up and just dropping down into the bottom of the engine. All right, so I just got a bolt and I wrap some electrical tape around it, stick it down in there, turn it, and that's gonna keep that hole from letting a bunch of junk go back down in there, and then we can clean and sweep. But I gotta get that front hole unplugged first, so let's move up there. Oh man, that stuff is gross. Hey, that hole's free now. Got my screen here, and we'll see if we can shove this right down this one. Hey, that looks pretty clear. I can see all the way down to either the oil pan or the crank or whatever that is down in there, but the hole is completely open. I mean, it's a little sludgy, but man, it was completely blocked off. So this is 1,000 times better. I don't know how well you guys saw that, so I'll do it a second time just so we know. I know you guys can see it. Here you go. Look at that. All the way down. I can see, if I get it at the right angle, I can see all the way down to the bottom. I don't know if you guys can see that down there. But that's either the crank or the oil pan. I don't know what's down there at the bottom of this head. I'm not a Ford guy, but I know we will have oil going back down there now. And now I'm going to get to cleaning all of this. I'll save you guys the grief of just watching, and I'll just put it on time lapse, and I'll give you a little bit of elevator music, and I'll get this cleaned up as best I can. Wire brush, kerosene, shop vac essentially is what I'm going to do, and lots of rags, and do my best at cleaning as much sludge out of here as I can. Realistically, I could just bolt it back together now, and it's 1,000 times better than it was before because it was just completely plugged up. But I don't want this stuff to come loose and plug those holes right back up immediately. So I'm going to try and get as much of this out of here as I can. All right, here's what we ended up with. This is what we're living with, guys. Look at that. Look how clean that is. Compared to what it was before, it's basically brand new. Now, there is some carbon. Oops, almost dropped you. There is some carbon buildup in there still, but if you saw in the time lapse, I used a little kerosene, dipped my brush in there, kind of agitated everything best I could. I didn't saturate it, but I got it on everything. I let it soak overnight. I came back, I re-agitated it all, and then wiped off anywhere that looked super gross. I used a pipe cleaner, wire brush, shoved it down in between all these little cracks. It's hard to get to. Just knock all the loose stuff loose. big chunks, get them out of there. Then I put towels up around here to kind of protect stuff from getting super gross and slimy. I took my air compressor and I just started from the back and started blowing that direction. I figure if it don't come loose with 90 PSI and me hammering on it for 4 or 5 minutes, it's probably not going to come loose when we're driving to O'Reilly's to get valve cover gaskets for some other project around the shop. Miles better than it ever was since I've owned it, and I just got to remember to pull these out so that we get that proper amount of oil flowage. I made sure all of our rocker arms are open, free, and clear. If you remember when we pulled it apart, there was oil on every single one of these, so I know there's oil getting up here. Everything is getting lubed correctly, and now it just doesn't have all that nasty 50 years of carbon buildup and crappy oil changes. But yeah, plenty good enough. I did clean up that gasket surface. Now I'm going to go over here and get working on this inner valve cover, because man, is it nasty. So I'll get out some scraping tools and a little bit of brake clean, get this all cleaned up and get it ready for our fresh gasket, and the driver's side will basically be done. I can hop over to the passenger side. So. And here we go. This is what we ended up with, guys. That is super clean in there now. I literally almost cut this baffle out and then tack welded it back in so I could clean on the top side of it. It had that much garbage in here. That much to be exact. That's absolutely insane that I got that much crud out of there. And it was basically just falling down. All I had to do was just barely touch it. So I'm pretty sure a couple chunks of that just fell, hitting bumps, driving down the road, and is what plugged those holes off. Not really the stuff that was on the head itself. But anyway, doesn't matter. It's all cleaned up now. Looks good. I got these nice Fel-Pro reusable gaskets. It actually tells you on the other side, cover side, and they say to torque this to 60 inch-pounds. Now, what I do like about this Ford, big shout out to Ford, is they've got a really good surface there on the head where typical 60s, 70s, even into the 80s GM stuff, the top of the head is, some of them are cast and they're even like radiused. And you're just, I mean, they're notorious for leaking because, I mean, you just can't get a good grab on it. But yeah, this looks like it's going to seal up just fine. They want me to put the little load spreaders on there. We're not doing any of that. We're putting the factory crap back on. If this gasket leaks, we'll pull it apart and we'll Permatex the hell out of it and slap it back together and it'll be forever good. It's got 95,000 miles on it, 94,000, whatever. I mean, realistically, we need this to seal up for another 10. Anyway, guys, I'm going to get to bolting this on there, and then we'll jerk the passenger side off. Guesses in the comments which one's worse, driver side, passenger side, driver side, passenger side. Let me know. Set it right down on there. Where'd my other bolt go? We're missing a bolt. Guess we're gonna have to find that, wherever that went. Well, I'm gonna do what any true professional would do. In this situation, it's missing a bolt. I'm gonna go over here to the other side that we haven't taken off yet. Steal and clean up one of its bolts, put it over there. Then we can continue on. If I have to dig one of these out of my bucket bin, so be it. We'll tackle that when we get to the other side. Perfect. Like it never even happened. This one here. Good. Good. All right, we're in good shape there. Put our cap back on so we don't forget that. Yeah. Watch out. Now that's not the factory air cleaner. I do have the factory air cleaner, but when I converted this to GM HEI, I couldn't use the factory air cleaner. That's gonna be a later down the road project where we're gonna actually modify the factory air cleaner to clear this GM HEI distributor so we can put that factory air cleaner back on in our little air intake and all that, so it looks a little more factory in here. Yeah. All right, I got all the bolts out, guys. I got us a light up here so we can see how bad the passenger side is. Now, I pulled the bolts out and it didn't immediately just start gushing oil all over this manifold. So I'm guessing it's not quite as bad as the driver's side. Plus, these plugs actually looked somewhat functional still compared to the driver's side when I changed them. Oh, guys, look at that. It is so bad. Like the rocker arms are literally wearing a spot in the crud when it runs. Look at that. It is so bad. Oh, man. And look up in here. We actually have a return hole over here. Which we did not have on the driver's side. Yeah, look at all the crud that's just like sitting in here. Just waiting. Sorry about my light not lining up with the camera. Doing the little flicker thing. But man, it is just so bad. So we'll suck out what we can out of here. Do the same thing we did on the other side. Just agitate it all best we can. Block some stuff off and hit her with the hose. Man. Here's a little look up front. And there is no return hole up here. It's completely plugged off. So passenger side was getting to be where the driver's side is. It does, again, if you look at all the rockers, they have oil sitting on them, except maybe this one that has this big chunk of crud. It's got wet oil sitting on it, so that's a good sign. All the rockers are getting lubrication. Look at that. Like, man. It's all just caked in there. We'll get her cleaned up. No fear. Dr. Dustin is here. So as per the usual arrangement in projects around here, I have managed to find a hour-and-a-half side quest. When I clean this valve cover all up, you can see it's got rust holes all the way down through here, right in here. The top was pretty crusty, so I cleaned that all up. I made us a little patch. So you can go right on there like that. I'm going to clamp it down, and we're just going to weld it. Clean it up a little bit. We'll clean it up on this edge. That way, when I put a bolt through there, I know it's going to pull down tight because this is all pretty thin in here, obviously, because it's all rusted through. If I just MIG weld those holes shut, then when I tighten this down here, it's probably going to leak, and, you know, we don't need any leaks, at least not that we can prevent. So, yeah, I'm gonna dig the welder out, get this clamped up, weld this back together, clean it all up, and then we'll be ready to toss this valve cover back on the van. It's always something, but you know, side quests are my superpower, so I mean, there is always that. And here's what we ended up with. I put a little semi-gloss engine enamel on there just to, you know, slow down that rust and hide our repair. I even masked off our little sticker here since Ford likes to slap all the pertinent information on the valve cover. Don't ask me why. Underneath here, got this is all cleaned up nice. Got our new grommet on our PCV valve. And then over here on the engine, this sat overnight, dried really well. And then I blew it out with the air hose again. And man, does that look good, guys. Now remember, it's not brand new, but we just removed like 30 years worth of sludge from in here. And when it was new, it slowly crudded up until it was what it was when we just tore it apart. So it'll be perfectly fine. This isn't a restoration. This is a, you know, be able to return oil back into the oil pan repair. I do have one little spot where there's some little bumps right there. It doesn't even touch the gasket when I put the gasket on there, but I am going to put just a little dab of Permatex around this hole just to be safe. And I did find our missing bolt. It was underneath one of my towels. That's why I did that expert maneuver there and just snatched one from the other side to keep the project moving along. So let's get this valve cover tossed on here and fire this thing up. All right, I got our valve cover all on here, got it torqued down, and now this is all slimy. I'm just going to rinse it all off with some brake clean. Try not to get it on our fresh paint. Just try and get some of this oil and slime off of here so a little bit less will burn off when we fire it up for the first time. Yeah, I've already hit this side with brake clean, and as you can see, it's still all slimy. So we'll hit it again. These are brand new plugs. I haven't really drove it with these at all, maybe to the gas station and back. Just try and get as much sludge off of here as I can. That way when we fire it up the first time, it doesn't just burn and smoke for like 3 days. All right, it's Friday morning. I got the van pushed out here, but did you guys catch my big mistake? This was almost an epic fail. I'll tell you what I did. I was in such a hurry to get the van back together that I didn't lube up any of the rockers. And I just bolted the valve covers back on, and we were gonna dry fire this thing. I remembered that yesterday and was like, oh man, it's a good thing I use those reusable valve cover gaskets. I got a little oiling can here full of 1030 with zinc in it that I put in all my old stuff. I've pulled the valve covers back off and I have oiled her up good. I'm gonna slap this passenger side valve cover back on, and then we can fire this thing up. But it's very important not to get in a hurry. You know, sometimes like, man, I'm almost there. Like I can see the finish line, and that's when the mistakes happen. So take a deep breath, do it right. If you have to go back like this, it's like, man, would it be okay? Probably, right? But it's better to know than to not know. And this thing's already lasted 94,000 miles. You saw all the sludge that we dug out of here. I want to give it every opportunity I can. It deserves this little bit of lube and an extra 10 minutes to do the job right. So now all I'm doing is I'm just going down here on top of the rockers where the push rods pump the oil out. And I'm just putting a couple of pumps in here, and then I'm putting a couple on the backside so it goes down around the rocker. And then I come right above the spring and I put a squirt right there just so it gets a little bit of oil on there. When it fires up, it'll be good to go until that pump gets oil back up here. This thing hasn't been this clean in so long, so it's not gonna know how to act. All right, so it's time to fire the van up, see what we get. Hopefully I got the plug wires all on right. Anyway, yeah, we'll fire it up for a minute, let it run, kind of burn some of the garbage off the manifolds, and then shut it off, let it cool off for a minute. Make sure we're building oil pressure. I just checked the oil. It is good. It is clean because I just changed it not long ago, but we did get a bunch of crud that's going to fall down in there. So as long as everything looks good, I'll probably drive it in town a time or two. Just drive real easy on it, which I normally do because she ain't winning no races. And then we'll drain the oil. Probably stick my endoscope up inside the oil drain and see if we can't see the oil pickup. See if there's a bunch of garbage on it. I don't know if there is, what we're going to do about it, because I can't really get the pan off, but maybe I can stick a coat hanger up in there with a little hose on it attached to my shop vac and see if I can't suck the crap off of there. I don't know. We'll come up with some hillbilly solution, but anyway, let's fire this thing up. She's running. And she's smoking. We've got 65 pounds of oil pressure. It's not making any crazy noises up top. Smoothing out a little bit. It usually runs rough when it first fires up, but this thing, for 93,500 miles, it runs damn good. It just runs damn good. It's actually on high idle right now. We'll let that stuff all heat up a little bit. Burn some garbage off of it. Need to blow all this off because look, I got grease and slime all over all of it. Let's go check the other side for leaks. We don't want any major valve cover leaks. Of course, it hasn't got a ton of oil up there yet, but this side didn't get near as much junk on it. Yeah. Running good like usual. There's a little bit of smoke puffing out, but again, we just cleaned it, so there was oil sitting in there. The real question is, after I drive this thing, 100 miles, is it still gonna smoke like it used to, for the first 20 minutes you're driving it, because all that oil is just sitting up there. And then as you would drive, like it would go away and then it would come back because the oil couldn't get back down into the bottom of the engine. It's just sitting up there in the valve covers. So let's idle it down. As you can see, guys, this thing just runs so good. I just can't believe how well this thing runs. Now it has just developed that hard crank. You heard it when I tried to start it, just like So I have a starter down at O'Reilly's. Need to pick that up, toss it on. I also have a heat shield to wrap around it and put on there. The starter is essentially the only thing I haven't replaced on this. But yeah, check it out, guys. Doing good, looking good, sounding good. The van is back, baby. You can see some stuff kind of boiling off over here. I can't really tell if it's leaking and it's fresh stuff or if it's just from us. Check this side again. You can see it's starting to get dry up around the manifold where it bolts to the head. It's going to take a while to burn this garbage off. Check this out. That's how much sludge we carved just out of the valve covers in the van in this video. That's just absolutely insane. Well, she's smoking now. Burning all that off of there. That's a good sign. I'm just gonna keep heat cycling her, but man, the van just runs good. Get all that crap out of there, especially being a van. I don't want to put the hood back on because I'll be breathing all that crap while I'm trying to drive. Better to let her air herself out on her own. Yeah. I think that was a good project. I think that's going to make the van run a ton better than it ever has before. Maybe my plugs will last 200 to 300 miles instead of 2 to 3 miles. All jokes aside though, guys, let me know in the comments below what you think I should do to the van next. Obviously, I need to go to O'Reilly's and pick up a starter for it. But yeah, let me know what you think, what your most recent side quest was. Drop that in the comments too. Go over to our Facebook group, comment over there, post a picture, video, something. Let us know what you're working on. Post a meme that you think's funny, van quote, something cool. Yeah, we got some merch available on our website, hats, t-shirts, things like that. If you're interested in that, we've got a membership program here on YouTube. Just tosses a couple bucks my way, helps me bring you guys these videos. And yeah, until next time, guys, keep on wrenching. Peace.